So today's video, I want to share with you what is deafness and hearing impairment, their characteristic, educational challenges, parents or family involvement, intervention, and treatment. So before I start my given topic, I have here a inspirational quote of Matsona de Liwayo. The blind can see God, the deaf can hear him, the mute can speak to him, and then the lame can run to him. So, what is deafness all about? Deafness means a hearing impairment so severe that a child is impaired in processing linguistic information through hearing, with or without amplification, that adversely affects a child's educational performance. So from the word itself, severe, malubha. There are three types of deafness. First, the conductive. Second, the sensorineural. Third, the mixed or combined loss. First, the conductive. It is a loss in the outer or the middle ear. Second, the sensorineural. It is a loss in the inner ear or the cochlea. Third, the mixed or combined loss is a loss in two or more of the above. Characteristic of deafness. First, the difficulty following verbal directions. Second, the difficulty with oral expressions. Third, some difficulties with social, emotional, or interpersonal skills. Fourth, will often have a degree of language delay. Fifth, will often follows and rarely leads. Sixth, will usually exhibit some form of articulation difficulty. Educational challenges of deafness. Here are 7 challenges that deaf and hard of hearing students face in the classroom, along with the guidelines for teachers on how to mitigate them. First, classroom acoustics. Acoustics are often a problem in a classroom, but luckily, there are several ways to solve these challenges. Deaf or hard of hearing students need full visual access. So, the best setting arrangement for the full participation, engagement, and access by the students is to arrange desks into a U shape. This allows the students to see who is speaking and participate fully in the conversation. Second, lighting. Fluorescent lights emit a special sound that interferes with the hearings and cochlear implants, making it even more difficult when trying to distinguish what peers or the teacher are saying. Consider the placement of the window in relation to the teacher, the interpreter, and then the deaf or hard-hearing student. Third, language deficiencies. Keep in mind that some deaf students' first or second language may not be English. Be sure to provide an appropriate interpretation service that will effectively communicate the lesson in their primary language. Fourth, experiential shortage. Research shows that deaf students often lag behind their hearing peers when it comes to number concepts, language and problem-solving skills, hearing students constantly absorb new information and knowledge. Fifth, left reading residual hearing. Teachers often hypothesize that their deaf students are capable of left reading, which can be true, but it is essential to keep in mind that only 30 to 40% of spoken English is distinguishable on the lips. 6. Inadequate knowledge and awareness. Every child learns differently, even if teachers are given instructions on how to best assess of their deaf students, it could be completely different for the next, resulting in an academic gap. And in the last, social concerns. Children who are deaf often tend to feel uncomfortable in the classroom when drawing attention to their hearing problem. They want to be like their friends with normal hearing, so this drives them to mainly keep to themselves and prefer to not take a part in classroom activities. Parents or family involvement of deafness. Parental involvement in children's school-based educational program is a significant positive predictor to early reading skills but shares considerable variance with maternal communication skills for this outcome. Maternal communication skills and the child's hearing loss were the strongest predictors for language development. Maternal use of additional services was the strongest predictors for poorer social emotional adjustment. Although parental involvement in their deaf child's school-based educational program can positively contribute to academic performance. Parental communication skills is a more significant predictor for positive language and academic achievements. Intervention of deafness. First, working with a professional or team who can help a child and family learn to communicate. So for this, there are many professionals just like SPED teachers who can help your child. Second, joining support groups. There are many organizations that support deaf people, just like Association of Late Deafened Adults, Deaf Women United, Intertribal Deaf Council, National Asian Deaf Congress, National Association of the Deaf. And then the third, taking advantage of other resources available to children with with a hearing loss and their families. Treatment for the deaf people or the deafness. First, getting a hearing devices such as a hearing aid. It makes sounds louder. They can be worn by people of any age, including infants. Second, cochlear or brainstem implants. It may help many children with severe to profound hearing loss, even very young children. Third, bone and cord hearing aid. This type of hearing aid can be considered when a child has either a conductive, mixed, or unilateral hearing loss, and it is especially suitable for children who cannot otherwise wear in the ear or behind the ear hearing aid. And then the last, other assistive devices. It is the FM system, the captioning. That's all for the deafness. And then the second I will report the hearing impairment. So the second I will report is hearing impairment. It means whether permanent or fluctuating that adversely affects a child's educational performance, but it is not included under the definition of deafness. It means permanent or fluctuating, pabago-bago. And there are types of hearing impairment. First, the conduction hearing impairment can result from damaged eardrum, which would prevent sound waves from being carried into the middle ear properly, and damage to the bones of the middle ear. Sounds cannot be conducted from the eardrum to the cochlea. Second, nerve hearing impairment can result from damage in the inner ear and damage in the auditory pathways and cortical areas of the brain. Characteristic of hearing impairment. First, speech sound system is delayed and the child is not developing sounds appropriately. Second, frequent or recurring ear infections. Third, a family history of hearing impairment. So maybe there are a family history. So fourth, difficulties attending and listening. Fifth, delayed language skills. And in the last, performing poorly at school. Their academic achievements will affect. Educational challenges of hearing impairment. Children with hearing loss have difficulty with all areas of academic achievements, especially reading and mathematical concepts. So there are another ways to support students with hearing impairment in their classroom. First, make setting changes, minimize background with noise when possible, use an FM system, face students when you speak, use lots of pictures, graphics, and text levels. Parents or family involvement of hearing impairment. Making decisions and being willing to adjust them as the child's need to change. Communicating effectively with a child who is deaf or hard of hearing. Using language consistently with a child throughout daily routines. Being familiar with ways to encourage your child's language development in natural ways. Making language accessible to the child. Consistently signing or speaking or both. Being responsive to the child's efforts to communicate, knowing how to advocate for the child's needs, helping the child's adjust to and use hearing advices. Interventions. Interventions should focus on ceremin management to reduce hearing impairment and allow for the use of hearing devices. Hearing device support so that residents can use hearing aids and other assistive listening devices and communication strategies so that conversations with residents can be facilitated. Treatment for those people who have hearing impairment. First, removing wax blockage. Ear wax blockage is a reversible cause of hearing loss. Second, surgical procedures. Some types of hearing loss can be treated with surgery. Abnormalities of the eardrum or bones of hearing. Third, the hearing aids. If your hearing loss is due to damage to your inner ear, a hearing aid can be helpful. And then the last, the cochlear implants. If you have more severe hearing loss and gain limited benefit from conventional hearing aids, then a cochlear implant may be an option. So that's all for my report for today's evening. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you understand my report. And then the next reporter will be my partner, which is Gerald Celera. Thank you.